Elissa Harrington outside one of those evacuation centers where some folks heard just an hour ago they were free to go home.
Yeah, good morning. More than 200 people stayed here at the Lincoln Community Center last night, and this morning we're told they can go home to their own homes. They can sleep in their own beds. This after they were forced to leave their houses on Tuesday when that tanker caught fire. Now, let's bring up some video of a lot of these people leaving this morning. Now, the evacuation was lifted right around midnight, but Red Cross volunteers here told us that they didn't want to wake up families because there were a lot of children asleep, so they waited until 6 a.m. to make that announcement. Family members said they were ecstatic to go home, especially since some of the original reports were that they might not be able to go home for weeks. It's only been 2 days. They can go home. The situation is safe, and that fire is under control. What's the first thing you plan to do when you go home?
Like I say, take these clothes off and get in the shower and just maybe have some good food. I mean, the food was good here, but my own food.
I'm really happy. I get to go home. I have to go to school like in an hour, but it's great to know that when I come home, I actually have a place to go and that it's my place.
Every single evacuee from this center has left. We just saw a couple of the last people leave during my tease for this story. So a lot of people told us that, despite having to stay in a shelter for a couple days and having to wear the same clothes over and over again, they really didn't mind the experience here. They met a lot of people. It turned into a big family, and you saw a lot of children leaving, and a lot of these kids said they didn't even want to leave. Some of their parents told us that the kids were really sad because they had made so many new friends. Now here I'm standing in front of this table where they would usually have a lot of food out by now. They'd have coffee and water, muffins, things that people could eat for breakfast. And yesterday at this time, there were a lot of people sitting on chairs out front getting information from police and fire officials on the status of when they would be able to go home. As you can see, all empty. The chairs are folded up. People back home, cozy in their beds this morning. Back to you.
And sooner than we expected, and that's nice.
A lot sooner.
Thanks, Elissa. Story number 2 this morning, a magnitude 4.5 aftershock rattled eastern Virginia overnight, and we move that up to story number 2. It doesn't happen back there very often. The good news is we have not